Well, hey there, Divination Divas. Happy New Year. This is my first video of 2020, and it's a video I wasn't intending on making because I had kind of forgotten about this deck. So here's the story very quickly. Carrie Parris created this, and it is called the Relative Tarot. And the reason that I had backed it, honestly, was that it comes with some classes on ancestry work with some, notable tarot folks. And I was excited about the class, and I really like Carrie's work. Carrie Parris presented Divination Day, one of the courses of Divination Day last year at Reader Studio on charm casting. And I have her Milagros Oracle, which is a charm casting kit that I really, really like. So I backed this mostly because I was excited about the class. And I thought, cool, a deck, it's a collage deck. Everyone knows how I am about collage decks. And then promptly just sort of said, okay, great. I can't wait for those classes to come out. And then the deck arrived much faster than I anticipated. And I have to give Carrie credit for running a really, really great Kickstarter, because her updates were great. Everything was finished before she started, even though there were some issues with the printer, etc. She really, really did a good job keeping everyone. Whoops, I just knocked my microphone over. Keeping everyone up to date, etc. So it was a really, really good thing. And so the deck arrived, and I was like, oh, cool, right, there's a deck. And I thought, okay, well, it's a collage deck, so it'll be fine. But I have to tell you, this is truly one of the most creative collage decks, the wittiest collage decks I've ever encountered. I am charmed and delighted by it. I love it. And one of the reasons why I've been really anxious to do this video is so that I could actually, shuffle it. I did use it for a reading the other day, so I have worked with it. But I was like, okay, I'm going to do it, and then I couldn't, and whatever. So the caveat that I have about this is that I did go to Carrie's website, and I can't yet tell whether this is going to be available to buy, or if it was just for the Kickstarter. So I don't know the answer to that. And so if that's going to be a concern for you, then I would probably pause here. I did go to the website. There wasn't any information there yet. But it's so good. I hope she does sell it. So let's take a look at it. So here's the story. It is a deck that she created in part, as I understand it, based on photos that were sent to her from a Facebook group, the Relative Tarot Facebook group, I guess, of people's actual ancestors. And so this is an ancestry-themed deck. It is a photo collage deck of sort of vintage mashup photos and Rider-Waite-Smith. And it comes in this gorgeous, we've come to expect so much of indie decks, and this delivers. So it says, the unique aim of the Relative Tarot is to help you discover your true potential by connecting with your beloved ancestors. This spirited set includes a tarot deck that's rich in vintage photographs overlaid with familiar tarot imagery, as well as an additional spirit card oracle that offers wisdom from the spirit realm, and introductions on how to navigate life's lessons by calculating your tarot blueprint, birth, and annual cards. And so this is kind of more than just a tarot deck, although the tarot deck is the thing that I'm most excited about. So there's a tarot deck, there's a spread cloth, there's a booklet, and there's an 80-card spirit oracle. And I will touch on the oracle a little bit, but you know how I am about oracles. All right, so gorgeous lift top box, and then there's a spread cloth. And I mean, it's really more of a scarf, honestly, but it's gorgeous. I mean, come on. So beautiful. It totally matches the deck in such a great way. And I don't read with cloths, especially like this, because I'm very clumsy and they get all wrinkled and I get all cranky. So let's look at the cards. So the only critique I really have about the packaging is that this foam core that is holding the cards in is so tight that it's actually a little difficult to get the cards in and out of them. So this is the tarot deck. This is the oracle. I'll look at the oracle, but again, the tarot deck is the thing that I'm most interested in. So here's a little guidebook, and it goes through how to calculate your birth cards, your year cards, etc. So I won't look at that too much. But it's based, I think, in part on Mary Kay Greer's methods. So let's put that aside. The deck I love. Let's zoom in. Obviously, because I'm super excited about it. So here's the back. It's got this great edging. I'm so down with this like edging that's not gilding, but it's still an edging. Because A, I don't have to do it myself. B, it doesn't bleed. And also just it's not really super ostentatious. There, I don't know if you can see it. There's actually a little bit of sparkle to it, but that's not kind of the primary thing. So let's put the cards down. So here's the thing about this deck. Not only is it very clever and super witty, which I'm so here for, there are, in many cases, several options that you have to choose from for cards and the position of a couple of the major arcana cards. So I will walk you through and just sort of show you those options. So you'll start to see it more and more, but you can see it here with the Fool that there's like a little whisper of the Rider-Waite-Smith cards and then like a photograph and these kind of blended images. And I honestly have to tell you, this is one of those rare decks where I actually prefer the minors to the majors because of how witty they are. I think that there are a lot of successful major arcana cards here, but the minors are really where things start to sing for me, and I love it. So here's the Fool. Here's the Magician. And again, you sort of see a whisper of the Rider-Waite-Smith Magician in the background. And so there are two High Priestess cards to choose from. So there's this more sort of like, I don't even know the word for it. This sort of more like free High Priestess sort of, and then this more Papist-like High Priestess. And so you can choose which one you prefer. And there's a couple sets of cards like that in the deck, which I really love. Here's the Empress. I really like this Emperor card for some reason. A little iced coffee action going on here. If you heard the tinkling of ice. Here's the Hierophant. Now there are 3 Lovers cards. So they're all the same, but you have the choice of sort of Adam and Eve, Adam and Adam, and Eve and Eve. So you can sort of choose the pairing that way, which I think is kind of great. The Chariot. Not my favorite chariot ever, I'm not going to lie, but it's fine. Strength. Justice. So there are 2 strength. Oh, wait. Did I do this wrong? Oh, that's what's right. So strength and justice. So you have the option to have strength at 8 and justice at 8 or at 11. So you can choose, there's 2 of each. So you can choose strength at 8 or justice as 8 or justice as 11 or strength as 11. So you can choose which one of those you want. The Hermit. There's 2 Wheels of Fortune. I thought. There is. Okay. Yes. All right. I wasn't quite as organized in reordering it. There are 2 Wheels of Fortune. I really don't like this Wheel of Fortune for some reason. So this is definitely the one I know I'm going to go with. I just don't know what it is about it, but I just don't like it. So here again, they're the same cards for strength and justice, but you can choose where in the deck they go. The Hanged Man. There are 2 death cards to choose from. I honestly prefer this one because, you know, if you watch my channel, I love a man in a cape. This probably, the one here, feels like one that may be more kind of in line with modern thinking, but I kind of really love this one. I don't know why. Sorry, just tidying up a little. Here's Temperance. The Devil. I love this tower. The Star. There's 2 moons. So you can choose which moon. I'm not sure which one I like. I do kind of like this lady with the champagne, I'm not going to lie. This one's a little more serious. There's just the 1 sun card. But it is not a creepy baby, which I'm sure will delight pretty much everybody. And then there's Judgment. And then there's two world cards. There's the world and the universe, and very similar, but again, you just have the choice of the sort of apparent gender identity of each. And then we get into the minors, which I'm just so delighted and charmed by the wit with which the photographs and the Rider-Waite-Smith cards have been melded. It just tickles me. And it's not cute. It's like totally usable. In fact, I find it very stylish. So here's the Ace of Wands. Here's the Two of Wands. Do you see? I mean, it just is so clever and charming and witty, and I just love it. I will also say you don't see it so much in the trumps, but in the minors there is more representation of various cultures than you would see in a vintage photo deck traditionally, given how a lot of vintage photographs of various colors are the product of Orientalism or other racist tropes. There is a lot of representation relatively in this deck, which I think is good. And there are choices too, which I think is nice. So that was the 3. Here's the 4 of Wands. I love this 5 of Wands so much. I just love these well-dressed people and their wands, and like they're not listening to each other. It's just so charming. Here's the 6 of Wands. I love the 7 of Wands with a baseball player. Another thing I love, other than a man in a cape, is a baseball player, so that works really well. Here's the 8 of Wands. And the 9 of Wands. And the 10. And there are 2 10s. So you can choose this sort of more traditional 10 or this more sort of dancey 10. I don't know which one to go with there because I don't read the 10 of Wands necessarily as a burden. Here's the Page of Wands, the Knight, the Queen, and the King. And then we get into Cups. And I think the Cups, if I'm not mistaken, it's either the Cups or the Pentacles. I can't remember because it's been a minute since I looked at this, but that's where most of the options live. So here's the Ace. Here's the 2. There's 2 2s, so you can choose between a man and a woman and 2 women. I do love a man in white tie and tails, I'm not going to lie, but I sort of love these like very straight-faced women sort of looking out from the 2 of Cups. There's 2 3s. And again, this feels more traditional, but I kind of love the structure of this card. So I love being able to have the option. You know, I just think that's such a fun thing to do. And so here's the 4. Isn't it brilliant how she combines the photograph with the Rider-Waite-Smith? I mean, it doesn't feel gimmicky or silly. I think it just is really charming. There's 2 5s you can choose basically between a male and female appearing person there. I love the 6 of Cups. The 7. I'm just charmed looking at this deck. I really, really appreciate it. I think it's just really charming and smart and witty, and I just love wit. Here's the 9. You know, you've talked about how I don't love whimsy, but I do love wit. There's 2 10s. So you have this sort of family of 4, and then you have kind of a larger family, but you can choose from that. And there's the Page of Cups. Oh, there's 2 Pages of Cups. So there's a female and male appearing. There's the Knight of Cups. Very, Captain Hook. It's the Knight of Cups. This is the Queen. And the King. And so we get into Swords, and I think the Suit of Swords might be my favorite. It is intensely clever. I, again, am delighted by the Suit of Swords, I have to tell you. So there's the Ace. Here's the 2. Look at this 3. It's great. I'm going to bring it up closer to the camera so you can see it a little better. Like, come on. So cool. I love it so much. Here's the 4. There's the 5. Great 6. The 7. The 8. The 9. Love it. I love this 10. So it reminds me of some kind of like alternative back pain therapy, like cupping but with swords. There's the Page of Swords. This came up in a reading I did for someone with this deck, and it this image had something to say of this sort of young sword swallower. Here's the knight, the queen, the king, and then we get into pentacles. Again, I mean, there's just really so many things I like about it. Here's the 2, the 3, the 4. I love this 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now in this printing in the Kickstarter edition, for some reason, the 10 of Pentacles was mislabeled the 10 of Wands. Carrie's sending replacement cards when they get created, but you know immediately that that's Pentacles. And then there's the Page of Pentacles. I love this Knight of Pentacles because, again, I have a little thing for like Civil War soldiers, Union Civil War soldiers, kind of, the big mustache. Like, I'm here for it. Queen. And then the King. And so that's the deck. Now, I won't shuffle it only because I want to go in and decide which cards I'm going to keep in, although I have a pretty good idea. Let me show you quickly the Oracle. You know how I am about Oracle decks if you watch my channel. I'm just a crabby Krampus, I guess. But it's pretty. I will say that. And I could see maybe this working in a kind of Sibylla-esque way. So it's just a picture and a keyword. They're not really gone through in the little book. So they're very much like prompts, I think, or roles. And I think, in an ancestral reading, you could use these to describe a character or describe someone's traits or life. So you have the academic, addiction, ancestry, artistry, balancing act, blessing, bohemian, bond, brazenness, camouflage, chance, chivalry, civil servant, comedy, tragedy, communication, competition, conflict, conscientious rather, coward. I'm laughing again. This made me laugh when I looked at it the first time. Defense, delusion, dictatorship, disconnect. I've got a little crooked here. Drama, elegance, entertainment, exploration, forget-me-nots, whoops, frame of reference, excuse me, guardian, harvest. What does that say? Heating, sorry. Hearth and home. Horse's ass. Hospitality. Humor. Imitation. Inheritance. Innocence. Intuition. Invitation. Kindred, labor, leisure, loyalty, martyrdom, mischief, newlyweds, nonconformist. Font's a little tough to read at this distance. Optimism, opportunity, oracle, organ grinder, grind that organ, panache, partnership, pillar, popularity, radiance, reflection, regimen, religion, rescue, rite of passage, ritual, seance, servitude, siblings, silver spoon, snake charmer, solidarity, sorceress, spirit, stature, theatrics, thin ice, tribe, vanity, vigor, visionary, wise guy, and wish. So that's it. Now, I don't really see myself using this, but the nice thing about this one is that the cards are not numbered. So in theory, you could just make an oracle out of it that you wanted to use. I'll shuffle this because just to give you a sense of how it shuffles. It's a great cardstock. It's durable, but it's not too thick. It's flexible. It riffle shuffles really nicely. So that is the Relative Tarot and the 80 card Spirit Oracle, along with the beautiful spread cloth from Carrie Parris. And I love it. So, well done, Carrie. I if you want to know more, go to carrieparris.com, and hopefully there'll be some information there soon. So hope this was fun. Really, really excited about this one, and delighted and thrilled that I had the foresight to back it on Kickstarter. So happy New Year. We'll talk soon. Bye.